Okay. I think that's good. All right. Limited digital releases are dumb. There, I've said it. That's my brave take. So hey, what's going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and that is what I'm going to be talking about in this video here. I actually had a tutorial that I was wanting to cover planned to go up today, the day this was supposed to go up. But I decided to cover this for a couple reasons. One, I'm annoyed about this right now. And two, it might be a little more beneficial if this goes up sooner rather than later about one of the main topics here, one of the parts of discussion that I'm going to be talking about. Now, what exactly is this? What am I discussing here? Well, this is in the topic of limited releases for digital games. Now, limited releases are nothing new by any means. We've had limited run games, of course. We've had all the other clones of limited run games that have come out. Some places do good, some places don't so much. We've also, of course, just had limited editions of games. I'm going to have examples of these as well, too. Hold on. Let me get my physical stuff out of the way here, all right? This right here is a limited edition of a game. This means that this is a game which, like Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, you can easily find it. It wasn't like it was a small print run or anything, but the limited edition comes in a different box. It comes with Skull Kid, you know. That's really about it, all right? This is nothing new. This has been around in video games and in media in general for a long time. This right here is an advertised limited run game, and actually from Limited Run Games. This means that this company, Limited Run Games, ended up taking this game here, Transistor, for the Switch, and they only made a finite amount of copies of them, as in they did one print run, and that was it. Now, because this one isn't a traditional limited run in the sense of it, it was open pre-order, I don't know how many thousands of copies they made of Transistor, but point is that they made a pressing of Transistor, and they're not going to do, at least Limited Run will not do another pressing of it. We've known about that for a few years. We also have the traditional sense of limited run games where I was lucky enough to be able to get this, Papers, Please, for the Vita. I believe they only made like 2,000 copies of this, and that is documented, that is known, that is on record. So there's only 2,000 copies of Papers, Please from Limited Run Games on the PlayStation Vita that physically exist. I believe that's the number. I could be incorrect on it, though. And finally, let's even get all these companies out of the way, just completely different here. Here, check this out. This isn't a special edition by any means. This is the complete version, I guess, of Lunar the Silver Star Story for the original PlayStation. Now, this isn't advertised as a limited edition. This is certainly not from Limited Run Games or any of those other companies. It was actually Working Designs that worked on this game here. The reason why I cite this is because this is not an anomaly by any means. There are many companies, and Working Designs was really well known for this. There were companies that just did small print runs of games, or they did one print run of a game, and that was it, and it ended up being a small run. So that's why some games, mainly like the PlayStation 1 Working Designs games, are generally kind of expensive if you try and track them down now, because Limited Run, and even for a while Atlas did this as well too on the PlayStation 1 especially, they just did small print runs of games, or they would do one print run of a game and that was it. It wasn't a limited edition, it wasn't a deluxe edition, it was just a low print run, and that was it. That was it. So this is all, none of this is new is what I'm saying. Now, this kind of spurred this video. We're on my Switch here, and it's about this specific game, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which at this point is now available. In case you do not know what this is and you've somehow missed out on it, for $60, you are able to get Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, as well as Super Mario Galaxy on the Nintendo Switch. And these are in emulated fashion, but they've been made to look prettier and run, you know, natively, so to speak, on the Switch. Point is, they're emulated, but they are also built to run on the Switch properly here. So as you can see, it has come out, or will be coming out, on September 18th. Now, one of the downsides to this is that this is going to be a limited release, meaning if you want a physical copy of this game, you are either going to need to make sure you had a pre-order in. If you did not get a pre-order in, you're going to have to get lucky finding this at a store, or maybe a used copy of it somewhere for a non-inflated inflated price, or of course you can just purchase it digitally. I mean, that's no issue as well too. You pay the $60, you download it straight to your Switch. I mean, that's perfect, is it not? And even though this is going to be a limited release and there haven't been that many copies of it pressed, the number has not been confirmed, you can always just get a digital copy of this. So why am I complaining about this? Is it because Nintendo can create more cartridges at will? No. Is it that this is inherently limited in a physical sense? No. Although I would like this to be, more widely available. The downside is that this is limited even in the digital sense. Now, the downside here, another one, is I'm just looking at this, right? We can briefly go through this here, just looking at the listing, and it talks about everything on this. But actually here, at the end, let's read this. Super Mario 3D All-Stars will be available as a limited run retail edition and a digital edition that is available for a limited time until the end of March 2021. Once the digital edition has been purchased on your Nintendo Switch account, it can be re-downloaded and played if deleted from your device. And I'm wondering here, is this game like 100 gigs? Is it on Modern Warfare level or something where it's just, I don't know, they're trying to save bandwidth? No, it's 4.7 gigabytes. And plus, if you purchase this game digitally and then delete it and re-download it, you can still access your download. You have the license for it. What annoys me here is that this game, even digitally, is kind of just being set out to die, and there's already an expiration date on it. If, for whatever reason, you do not purchase this game by March 31st, 2021, even digitally, which digital there is an infinite amount of copies of, alright? There's not a finite amount of copies like the cartridges that are being pressed. There's an infinite amount of digital copies that can be available as long as you are able to access your Nintendo Switch Online account and pay the required amount of money in order to pick that up. However, I hate that there's already an expiration date on here. You got about 6 months to purchase this, or else at that point, you're going to have to track down a used copy of this physically, or you're going to have to make sure you have an account that is unbanned, that has access to the license of this, or you're going to have to pay a scalper, or, of course, you're going to have to pirate it at this point. Like, those are going to be your options. I see no reason for the digital scarcity of this. If this was a beta of a game, if this was something else that shouldn't have been out for a long time, all right, I would understand that a little more. But I don't know what else I can say about this that hasn't already been said, which is why I didn't make a video directly about this. But there's another game that really pushed me to get out all the camera equipment here. I'm just gonna show you. This right here is Jump Rope Challenge, a cute little game which is available for free directly from Nintendo and is supposed to get you moving. But when it comes down to this was a small, like small as in 163 megabytes, this is a small, freely made application and game for the Switch here, and I love how wholesome this is. Let's just look at this here. Jump Rope Challenge was created by a small group of Nintendo developers while working from home in Japan as a simple game to add some quick and fun movement into their daily lives. Now, this game was released, let's see, June 15th, 2020. So, in the midst of COVID-19, the coronavirus madness, the pandemic, when people were working from home and more people were accessing the internet and staying at home than ever before, guess what? A small group of Nintendo developers in Nintendo of Japan decided to create this game, and they decided to release it for free. Like, Nintendo, they didn't even charge $1 for this. They put this out for free, which, like, good on them. That's really cool. I love the idea of this. I absolutely love this. What I don't love is an article that ended up getting put up on the Nintendo Switch news section here. Published on the 15th of September, free download, get Jump Rope Challenge before it jumps off Nintendo. Don't get cute with me on this, alright? Now I'm just going to read this off. Want to be a jump ahead of things? A free game is leaving Nintendo eShop soon. So here's your chance to get the jump on it. On September 30th, the Jump Rope Challenge game will be leaving. When you're reading this before September 30th, you can still get it. It's a free, fun, and easy way to get your body moving. By using a pair of Joy-Con controllers and imagining them, yeah, that's just talking about the game right there. But here, please keep on reading for more info about the game. This game was created by a small group of Nintendo developers while working. We already talked about that. If you're interested in downloading the game, just hop, skip, and jump over to Nintendo eShop by using the link below. So they got really cute, and they put a whole lot of effort into this release right here. But this game, this free game that was made for one of the most wholesome reasons, just freely put out on the Nintendo Switch while everybody is staying at home so they can get a little bit more exercise in. It doesn't look like it's Nintendo's own property right here on the Switch, so it's not like there's a trademark dispute or a copyright dispute or what have you on this. It's just something that they put up on. It's something they put up for their goodwill, all right? For whatever reason, they're only allowing it for 3.5 months on here. And this I don't get. Now, we've seen this before with PT, for example, and this is an example that people love to use, and understandably so. In case you do not know, PT is short for Playable Teaser. It was a small, free game that was released on the PlayStation 4 completely randomly, and when you ended up finishing it, spoiler alert, it ended up revealing that it was the playable teaser for an upcoming game called Silent Hills, which was going to be the reboot of the Silent Hill franchise, presumably on PlayStation 4. Well, because Konami ended up being a Konami, they ended up Kojima ended up leaving Konami. It wasn't the best thing. They had to cancel Silent Hills because he was working on this, and when they canceled Silent Hills, they also ended up completely pulling the PT playable teaser off of the PlayStation Network. Now, there are ways to get it where, really, because it wasn't released physically, it was digital, and it was pulled like that. Now you either need a PlayStation 4 with a valid license and a copy of the game already downloaded on it, or if you have a PlayStation 4 account, which has the license for that game, you could use a bit of a roundabout way using a proxy server to legitimately re-download it to your PlayStation 4, or if you modify your PlayStation 4, you can get a fake package file of it, which is, just a pirated version of it, essentially there. That, as much as I hate to admit it, that I understand a little bit more. Because that is a teaser for a game that is supposed to come out. But since the game was canceled, they end up pulling the teaser as well too, much to everyone's dismay, because as a company, Konami, why would you have this teaser or demo up for a game that you just canceled? But this right here, Jump Rope Challenge, does Nintendo own Jump Rope? Do they own the right? Like, did Jump Rope get canceled? I know that a lot of things and a lot of people are getting canceled recently. Did Jump Rope, like, what happened to Jump Rope? That's what I want to know. What happened to Jump Rope here? Because I wasn't aware of it if something happened to it. We've seen this with games that have ownership disputes. We've seen this with games that have licensing issues. We've seen this with games that had, an exploit you could utilize on them. They get taken down, they might get put back up, we don't know, or licensing expires, or like in the case of Grand Theft Auto games, for example, there are songs that are licensed on these games, the older 3D Grand Theft Auto games, for example. Those games, the licenses for a lot of that music are not perpetual. So if you own a PS2 copy of a game, all the music's going to be on there. But it wasn't expected that these games are going to be resold over and over and over and over and over again like 15, 20 years later. So I guess that was just kind of some hindsight that wasn't there before. But mind you, we have seen some stuff like that that goes awry. And as much as I hate the licensing issues on there, like, I understand it from another perspective. Like, I get the frustration from the consumer perspective, but from the licensing perspective, I also get that as well, too. I absolutely hate that we have to deal with stuff like this here. I dislike this on so many levels. The idea for digital products is that you would always have it available. You can just access it from your couch, or even on this case in the Switch, you could access it from your hands right there. And if you don't want to leave your house because you don't feel like going out, or you don't want to violate your own safety, or you don't want to pay a scalper $120 for this collection, you can just pick it up right here. But even with Switches being kind of hard to find, or maybe you just won't have one until June of next year, guess what? If you don't end up picking up this copy of the 3D All-Stars collection, tough luck. You're not going to be able to get it easily at that point. Same thing with Jump Rope Challenge as well too, and that's why I'm kind of releasing this video a little bit sooner. If you're watching this now and you have access to a Nintendo account here, like a Nintendo Network account for your Switch, get Jump Rope Challenge just to have the license, just to have that downloaded. It's not that big, and that is something that's going to be disappearing, and that seems the more egregious one to me. With Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I get it and I don't. I guess I get it from the physical perspective. They want people to just go out and buy it. But from the digital perspective, I don't get that, because it's pretty much just going to be free money for Nintendo for the rest of the Switch's life cycle, as that's accessible. And it's nice that they at least have a physical copy, so I don't have to worry about my license, disappearing, or my account being locked out or banned or what have you. I don't have to worry about that, which is why I'm getting a physical version of it. But with Jump Rope Challenge, this is a free game, this is made for a good cause, this is made for a good reason, and it's just being pulled away. And they announced it's like 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks, something like that, before it was being delisted. This is stupid. I don't have much else to say on this. Digital limited releases of games and just products overall, like doing the Jump Rope Challenge thing, doing the Super Mario 3D All-Stars thing, it's dumb. And I hate it. And that's why preservation is important. And that's part of the reason why piracy exists to this as well, too. Let's say you really want to try this. It's June 2021, and you have a modded Switch. Your only option is going to be to pirate it at that point, okay? That's about all I have to say. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments and all that stuff. This is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be appreciated. If you didn't like it, a dislike is fine as well, too. I don't do that many videos like this anymore, but let me know if you liked this.